It was half term last week, meaning we had no place to live. As part of the deal we have with the Airbnb we're staying in is that we vacate it for peak times. We're happy with this arrangement and we use the time to go and visit family. Hugh's parents live in the Lake District, so the kids and I drove up and Hugh joined us a few days later. With such a looming deadline, Hugh felt a bit guilty for having a break, but he's been putting in such long hours that a rest was entirely justified. Luckily, we have a very handy and useful boat neighbour called Andy who's been helping Hugh with the build, and whilst we were away, Andy held the fort and moved the jobs along.
Having Andy help us out the last few weeks has been absolute godsend. So he's just really excited about what we're doing and wanted to give a hand. And so we've been away having a bit of half term this week, which has been great because Christmas was all ruined by COVID and we needed a bit of downtime and come back. And I sort of asked him if he might just crack on with a couple of jobs, and he's basically done them, which is wicked. So most of all the panels I've made, these are all the bits for the beds and a couple of cupboards. He's painted all these boards. Oh yeah, you can see down here, all painted. So it's so great to come back here and find this all done. That's all been painted, put back in, which is cool. So we can tidy that area up, and he's working on this area here. And then, so that was sort of what I asked him to do, and he knew what the next job was. Oh, and he's also done the finished insulation in the ceiling as well. So all that, which Eric can't do, because Eric can't reach that. So that's wicked that Andy's done that. So that was like absolutely most I could ask him to do. He's done all that, and then he's even done some more, which is wicked. So us being away I didn't lose too much because Andy sort of mucked in and gone, I'll crack on with that, which is really cool. The last thing he's done is get this panel in. The idea was to get this panel in, sort of screw it up close, and then run a flush bit route around with the frames I made last week, which you guys saw, and then paint it all. And he's basically done that. He's cut those flusher, and he's even trimmed off bits here where the surface is proud. So he's actually done, I can see already he's done the prep on that job, so when he pops around later, it'll be two of us can spend half an hour putting that board in, and then the whole room's sort of ready to put a paint and finish and start putting back together over the next week or so. Give me a hand, and we have got this huge board into place, all foamed in, loads of insulation behind, quite a big bend in the board to get it in, and loads of screws holding it in place. But this foam is so strong, and like every time I use it, I'm amazed how strong it is. I'll be able to take all the screws out, and it should hold its position.
Hugh went off on another road trip this week. It is our intention to generate as much of our power as we can through renewable sources: solar, wind, hydro. However, according to Hugh's calculations, we may have a shortfall. We've always been reluctant throughout this build to buy a generator new, as we just don't have the budget. So Hugh has been keeping an eye out on eBay and the likes, and has found a second-hand generator that might just be the bargain that we've been looking for.
I've come over to the Handball River this morning. This is next to where Handball School of Yachting is, where Kelly did their course of the week, and literally, that's the building right there. But I've also just cleared this space in the van there, because I thought I would come and double check and say no to this generator I was looking at. But I've just cleared a space and I'm going to buy it. Basically, this generator came out of a boat a couple of years back and it's been in this container. Fisher Panda review was it was coming to the end of its life in terms of maintenance, but for me to do it myself on a budget, I reckon it's worth the punt. Anyway, I'll come and show you the unit. So the nice thing about a gen set like this is it's very small, and once it's inside it's proper housing. That's part of this case there, and there's another bit as well. It's also pretty quiet. It's not going to be much louder than like a dehumidifier running or a washing machine being turned on. I'm running that for an hour a day. It's going to make up the surplus in my energy calculations of what we need. It's going to give us that security. Lots of it looks really good, but there's just signs of corrosion, and I'll show you now. Down around that bit there, which I think is a thermostat for the water, and then there's corrosion on one of the engine legs. And yeah, the guy said on the phone inside the thermostat. It's always difficult this to know whether to take the jump, but I'm going to take the risk. Give it a go, find out. I mean, this guy was very chatty, very silly, so I may have just been completely duped. We'll see. £1,200 to buy it. It's going to cost me maybe another couple hundred to get it installed, get it working, get it in. And then yeah, £1 a day on fuel, probably less. That should be all our electric needs met. Let's see, and if it doesn't work, then I strip it apart, stick it back on eBay, and probably don't lose any money. So I think we'll be okay. Next job now is this hole here.
A trotter berth, you say? In order for us to optimise the space and to fit in all the cabins we need, we've made the cabins deliberately short. This is fine until you come to lie in a bed. So in order to take it from this to a full-length bed, we simply make a hole in the wall and voila! Space for the legs, or trotters. The trotter berth.
It's where Eric's legs are going to go, and there's another bunk below that. I'm going to spend a bit of time tidying it all up, but I've actually came to the conclusion the best thing to do is just rebuild a whole other frame that sits over this, reinforces all that. It can be really neat and tidy, and I can build to that frame, which is going to have some nice neat curves on it, which I can then just fill and fair to match with the existing bulkhead, make it look all good. You're thinking, how is he going to make that look good? And I was thinking that for a while. I was thinking, how the hell am I going to make that structurally strong? Reinforce the chain plates, which are there, make the bulkhead good. And I've got a solution. I know what I'm going to do. So watch this space, we'll make it tidy, we'll make it work. So I've made this board there, very custom. It's taken a while to get it cut into place. So that board is going in that place there, which looks a bit odd because currently it's covering a hole I've already cut. But this is one of the first cuts I did when I was sort of brainstorming the legs. I was like, oh, I'll tie that up later. Hugh from the past, do what Hugh from the future does. Take your time, do it right first time, otherwise this happens. Anyway, it's good, it's going to end up bigger, better, stronger, as always. So I've got this board here now. I'm now going to template the actual hole I do want cut. You see it's a little bit rough. And it's actually going to be a little bit smaller around here, and some places there's going to be a nice curve there to match the one I did neatly down there. That's going to all be done like that. I'm going to take that board away, cut it out, make it look really pucker. Then I'm going to put it back in. I'm going to fiberglass it into the hole because this is a structural bulkhead as well, so it's going to reinforce that. Just get the new hole, and then I'm going to use more of the fiberglass to fill in all the gaps to make the two completely flush. And so the bulkhead effectively be double thick at that point, and it's just being reinforced a little bit by that big thick 3/4 inch marine ply. It's all good in theory, and it'll all be good in practice. It just takes time. I woke up this morning and went, I realised I'm doing something stupid. Not the first time. Let me show you. This has all been filled with a load of filler, ready for me to run, flush bit route around to make the other edge. The inside one completely flush with the outside one. That was there just to clamp it in position. I'm looking now at this edge here. The idea is to run the flush bit router against this flat surface as a trim out all this excess material here to get a lovely flat finish. And of course I glued this in at the same time, which was stupid of me because now the router won't be able to reach that section there. But actually it's not as bad because that's one where it's almost flush anyway, so I'm just going to have to hand finish that. But that's what I woke up and ordered myself about. I'm just about getting there with this Trotter Berth thing. All made up. I'm just going to need one final bit of sanding, and then hopefully I can just about start painting. And then got to box it in, but I'm getting it all painted first to beauty. So I get in there, small step at a time. Unbeknownst to you, or some of you, I've got a degree in design and technology. Did that at Loughborough. And one of the things I started doing during my degree, which is now like 15, 16, 17, 18 years ago, quite a long time when I started that. One of the things we got sort of installed to us very early on was keeping a logbook, keeping a record, putting all your thoughts in one place, and I've done it ever since. So here we are, this is probably 3 of my latest logbook. This is the one I'm on at the minute, so I'm about that halfway through. And it's just got like, I don't know, just trying to show you things. Like, there we go. That's the drawings of the P bracket redesign at the minute. That's something about the prop shaft. Yeah, just bits and pieces. If I had all my logbooks here, I reckon we'd be up to about there, maybe. I've been keeping these since 2004, and like I use them like everything. They've got like sketches in them, they've got design ideas, they've got thoughts. They've also got musical notation. They've got songs I'm learning, want to learn. They've got lyrics. They've got shopping lists, like everything. So it's quite a nice little log of my entire life. So here on this page is the list I wrote at the very end of January this year, when I realised we had only about 10 weeks till we wanted to get the boat out of the marina and start moving on. And I wrote 2 lists, like what we need to do to get the boat in the water safely and be able to move it safely, and what we've got to actually be able to live on the boat. And in fairness to me, I'm actually almost keeping to that list. But so something I've done is tidied it up a little bit now, and I've got these written out, and I've only actually printed out one so far, but they're up on the computer. And I've got a big list. This one here is my list of to float the boat, and I've got a big list of actions to achieve in the next 6 weeks or so. As you can see, I've put a bit of colour code in there. All the green stuff is things that Andy's going to help me with. I've also got my friend Tom coming next week, which is going to be great. I also put next to everything a very generous estimate of how much time each job will take. So like, there's plenty of time, and you know, I've got loads of stuff on there where I've put a big amount of time, like 4 hours for a job that should hopefully only take 1 or 2. The hours all add up, and there's basically 2 weeks work there. So we're looking at about 80 hours worth of work to get the boat from where it is now to a place where it's ready to float. And that includes like getting everything off the boat and putting it into storage and things like that as well. So that's that 80 hours. So that's 2 weeks work, and we've still got, I did the math, I actually can't remember. It's Easter, we're going in just after Easter. So like 6-7 weeks we've got. So that gives me, you know, 4, maybe even 5 weeks worth of work. So 200 hours of my time to get to a place where this boat is ready to live on. Because I mean, we're going to be camping this spring and this summer. You know, it's going to be very much like basic living. The kids aren't going to have doors on their bedrooms. It's good fun.